So I have a basic theory why people born in the 1990s are so hateful, especially towards older men. You go on the dating sites, 18 to 25 usually dates 18 to 25. Hatefulness towards older guys. And it's funny because recent studies show that if your father is 35 to 55 years old, then it's going to give your kids longer telomeres on their chromosomes, which is going to be making them less mentally ill, less physically ill. They'll live longer, their DNA will replicate more, and they'll be better, smarter, faster, fitter children if the father is between 35 and 55. And the reason that younger women don't hook up with older guys is destroying human DNA. This is the pattern of all life, all two-gender life, from apple trees to primates. It's always younger female to older male within the heterosexual pattern. And usually the homosexual pattern as well, because it creates a telomerase equilibrium, the chemical that keeps you young between aging and youth. But the sperm telomerase rises, which gives kids stronger DNA. So we should be working on hooking up people that are 26 years old or younger that are female with men 35 to 55 years old. That should be the encouraged pattern among everyone because of telomerase equilibrium. And too much telomerase causes cancer, depression, stress, breaks down your immune system. You might see that younger people that are couples argue more often. And age gap couples where the male is older and the female is younger don't argue as much. That right there is an indication. You see a lot of age gap love like that, and you see a lot of people, right now it's the millennials and Generation Z, they're hooking up with people their own age, and what that's doing is causing a breakdown of their chromosomes, which explains why they fight more often than the age gap relationships where the male is older. The reason that this bigotry persists is kind of like white entitlement or heterosexual entitlement. Before it was like, oh, if you're gay, you shouldn't even be in society. If you're not white, you shouldn't even be in society. Black and white can't hook up because the white straight man controls everything, so you can't do anything outside of his command, being a white straight male. And I am a white straight male. But also I consider myself kind of a feminist. I may have said bitch a couple times, but you know, I usually hold back on saying that and say bigot instead because it makes more sense. But you know, anyway, we had the paternal aging effect myth of 1912. And what that said is older fathers gave kids weaker DNA. Wikipedia, straight out, since 2009 has said that this is probably a myth. And the studies since 2012 has shown that this is definitely a myth, and it's completely the opposite. Like Aristotle saying that the sun revolves around the earth, and Copernicus saying the earth revolves around the sun. And other cultural myths like marijuana being bad since 36 to 97 with the introduction of medical marijuana states. So my theory is that this younger father thing that has continued for 100 years of fathers under the age of 35 has caused telomere attrition, and it causes more hatefulness because it breaks the body and the brain down, and hatefulness is an indication of sociopathy and other mental illnesses. Hatefulness is fear lashing out with anger. And the reason is because, well, sociopathy, borderline personality disorders, mental illness is caused by the wilting of the chromosomes that cause a synaptic triggering problem, which cause various mental illnesses from bipolar to schizophrenia to autism to things like sociopathy, borderline personality. And what you have now are people that are age-phobic. See, we've gotten over racism a lot, and we've gotten over homophobia a lot, and we've gotten over sexism a lot. So we see a lot of couples where the women make more money than the men. We see a lot of interracial couples. We've seen a lot of homosexual couples and straight couples accepting them, and everybody's accepting, except the age gap relationship that is supposed to be isn't the way it is. Because the dating sites themselves are bigoted, and it's this youth marketing through things like MTV and every channel on television and every song on the internet is all youth bandwagoning bullshit. It's kind of like white people only hanging out with white people. It's like young people always hanging out with young people. There's no intergenerationalism. And what that has done is caused a breakdown of the telomeres of the chromosomes, which has led to things that we know about. Every medical condition you can think of is caused by short telomeres, from bad eyesight to mental illness. All that is because your chromosomes age too quick because the telomeres control aging. And my theory is that over the past 100 years of youth bandwagoning has caused this spike in medical conditions, such as 1/3 of the American population now having a medical condition. That's even more than the Industrial Revolution of the 1900s. There were less people with bad eyesight in the 1980s than 1996. The market crash of 1987 caused NAFTA of 1992. So about 1996, there were less people, less of the percentage of the population were actually going and getting their eyes checked. And you could see this indication after Obamacare. There's more kids getting their eyes checked and there's more kids with glasses. It is shown that something has broken down the human genome, where the young kids have bad eyesight and in the same percentage as their baby boomer great grandparents, and all this other shit like age phobia, youth bandwagoning, racist language, hatefulness, violence among the young. You know, you watch like the talk shows and the young disrespectful kids, and that's pretty much normal. All kids are pretty much disrespectful now, or they're nerds, or they're the churchy types that are restricted away. So you basically have most religious people I've met are actually the biggest assholes and jerks and bitches and meanest people I've ever met. The meanest people I've ever met have been the religious. The whole wishful thinking thing makes them feel entitled because somebody's gonna save them. And there's a lot of like capitalists, atheists, and there's basically just a lot of hate. So if you're gonna call me repulsive for pointing this out, or just because you think I look bad, I'd never go up to somebody and say you're ugly to somebody. That's mean. Why you would do that shows that you got a breakdown in your brain and you have no reason to check your hate. You being hateful. I never go up to like a huge obese person and say, hey, fuck you, you're fat. Or hey, a black person, fuck you, you're a nigger. Don't do that to people. Don't tell people that they're bad. Don't tell people that they're sinful or blasphemous or evil unless you have a reason. Maybe the only reason to point out that people are evil is when they're acting evil towards others. Like millennials. People born in the 1990s are the most hateful people I've ever met. And at the same time, I want to date these women because they're the most beautiful, attractive women I've ever met. And they're also highly intelligent and usually pretty kind. But you meet people in the 1990s, they stick to people in the 1990s because we're all white. But it's all the age grouping, and it's all controlled by television and the way the schools are laid out. It's all entitlement. Knock it off. But you can't, really, because your telomeres are trided. You have a mental illness known as age phobia. And maybe you should get over it, and maybe we should have a law against it so we can actually have some good kids and aren't disrespectful assholes, morons, and bigots. My website is Conversation Our Age. The website is conversationrage.weebly.com. If you're nice to me, I will take you out to some really expensive sushi. I'm not an ageist. I have dated women born between 1961 and 1979. I was born in 1979. What the fuck does that tell you? That tells you that you're a bigot if you don't go out with me. Yes, indeed, if you were born in the 1990s and you won't go out with me, even though my skin with your skin would cut down on cancer and depression and the telomerine effect of shortening chromosomes, and also our kids would have stronger DNA. You have less chance of a disease. You have a boyfriend that would actually be more loving towards you than your interageal crap where you guys fight all the time. I'm a romantic dude once you get to know me, but if you're hateful, bye. I hate you like racists. I hate you like I hate homophobes. I don't care if you date older men and you don't date me. You're a hateful person. You're a hateful person. Your youth entitlement or some kind of bitchy attitude against me. Don't ever hate on me. If you hate on me, I'm just going to say you're a tried it. Fuck you. And I'm going to leave. You know, Starbucks, we're going to get millions of dollars. I didn't do anything creepy against the law or wrong. All I did was ride a night in the snow. You go around people, most people say that Lucas Werner has a positive attitude. And I do. Screw you.